Hey everyone, today we have another Coco flow. If you haven't tried one of these classes before, they are super slow, super sweet, really close to the ground and just quite restorative in nature. We're going to be focusing on opening through the side bodies and the hips in this one. If you did have 2 blocks nearby, then please feel free to bring these in, but if you don't have them, then that's no worries at all. You can do this class without them. Let's get started on our backs. And if you wanted to, I don't know, get really cozy, like maybe put a jumper on, put some socks on, bring in a blanket, bring in a pillow, put a candle on, just, making these little touches to make the experience feel really sweet and nourishing for you. And we'll find ourselves in Shavasana for a couple of moments. So extend your legs out long. Tuck your tailbone underneath you slightly. You might roll the shoulder blades back underneath you so that the chest lifts up a little higher. And let's just bring our hands onto our body. Maybe both hands kind of resting on the belly, or you could do one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Take a moment to connect with your breath. So as you breathe in, can you feel your body push up into your hands? So feeling the belly expand, feeling the ribs and the upper chest expand. And then as you exhale through the nose, just feeling the body soften, feeling the hands soften down. Take a few more slow breaths like this. Maybe taking a quick scan of the body and noticing where you can soften a little more. Maybe it's around the face. We tend to hold a lot of tension around our eyes, our mouth, our jaw. So just softening these parts of the body, encouraging a more relaxed state. And when we start with the body, then it often ripples out into a more energetic body, into our mind, into our heart. We're going to turn this position into a side bend or bananasana. As you can imagine, it's like a banana. Walk your feet over to the right. And then you might stack your left ankle on top of the right. And then shuffle your shoulders to the right as well. It could be a really subtle side bend or a little bit more of a bigger one. Feel free to keep your hands on your body, or if you want to, reach the arms above your head, clasping the right hand around the left wrist and gently just pulling it across. In this shape, can you send your breath into the left side of the body, so into the left ribs, helping to create some space through the intercostal muscles, down through the lats, through the obliques. And for me, I even feel this in my hip flexors on my left side. Take 2 more really slow breaths here. And then walk yourself back through center. Let's swap to the other side. So start by shuffling the feet over to the left and then maybe stacking the right ankle on top of the left ankle and then shuffling your upper body, your shoulders to the left as well. Again, maybe you keep your hands down or lift them up, left hand clasping around the right wrist, gently pulling it across. Sending your breath into the right side of the body now. And as we move and hold asanas today, can you notice the different sensations that appear? And just keep asking yourself, where can I soften? Where can I let go? And these Coco classes, it's not necessarily about activating or, tensing. It's about just completely relaxing the muscles and letting the surfaces that are underneath the body support us. Two more slow breaths. Walk yourself back. Hug both knees up into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Hug the hands behind the back of the thighs. Just gently roll yourself up. It could be one time, could be a couple of times. Eventually landing at the top. Cross your legs over. Let's start with the left shin in front of the right. If you needed at any point, you can lift your hips up a little higher, especially if this feels quite uncomfortable for the knees or ankles or hips. Let's lift up, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Maybe it's just hands today, or maybe the elbows come down. If you're pretty close to the ground, you could grab a block or stack your hands together and bring your forehead down onto it. If you were feeling pretty open within the hips already, you could move that left foot up onto the shin or up onto the thigh, more for kind of a half lotus shape. Four more slow breaths. Walk yourself back. I'm going to turn this into a side bend. Bring your right hand to maybe the left shin or the left knee, if that's accessible. Twist the chest to the left slightly. Lift tall through your lower back. Breathe in, left arm reaches high. As you exhale, side bend. Another variation is kind of bringing the right elbow down in front of the right shin and just kind of gently pressing the right elbow into the leg to help rotate the spine more. So you just kind of choose the journey that you want to be on today. One more slow breath. And then rock yourself back. We're going to swap the legs over. So right ankle in front of the shin, or you can bring the foot up a little higher onto the leg if you're feeling pretty warm. Lift up tall, breathe in. Breathe out, fold forward. And whenever we fold forward like this, can you send the breath to the back of the ribs and the sides of the ribs as you inhale, and then as you exhale, releasing the breath and maybe noticing there's a bit more space to fold forward. Two more slow breaths. Walk yourself back. Twist the chest to the right slightly. Left palm comes around the right knee, although you can kind of get a little lower, bring the elbow in front of the shin or the thigh. Let's lift the right arm up, breathe in. As you exhale, side bend. This position is quite active for the right shoulder, so at any point if you wanted a little bit more support, you can bring the right hand behind the head and just pull that right elbow back, or you could just release the arm entirely. One more slow breath. See if you can lift the right ribs off the right hip a little more. And then roll yourself up. Sweep your legs around. Let's come into a child's pose for a moment. So bringing your big toes together, sink your hips to your heels. Reach your arms forward. Might feel nice to shift the hips from side to side. Noticing where you feel this position in the body more today. Maybe you feel it more in the hips, maybe you feel it more in the shoulders, the arms, maybe down the spine. maybe in the ankles. If you've got your knees a little wider, maybe the adductors, the inner thighs. Plant into the hands, roll yourself up, tabletop position. Now, if you did have blocks today, then let's bring them underneath the hands, just for something different. Couple of rounds of cat and cow. Let's breathe in, drop the belly down, look up. Exhale, round for our cat pose, tuck the chin into the chest. Inhale, open up. Lift up the tailbone, drop the belly down. Exhale, curl it in. And feel free to add on any movement that feels good. Maybe rolling the ribs around in a circle. Maybe shifting hands or hips back and forward. And then come back through a neutral spine. Just step the hands forward a little bit, and then right foot steps outside to the right hand. Adjust your stance as you need. Right knee roughly stacked on top of the right ankle, and we want to have that left knee far back enough that we can slot our hips forward. Take a couple of breaths as you might shift from side to side. And then shift the hips back towards the heels for our Ardha Hanumanasana, our half monkey pose. Make sure that there's at least a small bend in that right knee so you're not locking the right knee joint out. And if you've got tight hamstrings today, then it might be quite a big bend. Inhale, shift forward, bend the knee. Exhale, shift back, lengthen the leg. Let's go about 3 more. Feeling the right toes pull back to your face as you shift back. Come back into your lunge. Option to go a little lower, maybe onto the elbows for our lizard lunge. Now, if you wanted to, you could come onto blocks if you had that. You can make them higher, you could make them lower. If you know that you can touch the ground with your elbows without blocks, feel free to go there. If you're not quite there yet, then just bringing the left elbow down and the right elbow off is a good way to kind of find that middle step. You might tuck your chin in almost like you're looking at your belly button. One more option here is to come to the outer edge of your right foot, maybe turning the right toes out on a diagonal slightly, peeling that right knee wide. Let the hips sink forward, feeling the stretch. If you've got your knee out wide, maybe more in the glute area, maybe around the hip bone more. Walk that right foot down. Press up onto your hands. If you've got your blocks, just grab them back again. Going to lift yourself up slightly. Place the block either side of your body. We've still got a little sink of the hips forward, but it's not as much as we did before. We're going to side bend to the left. Reach the left hand down to the left block. Breathe in, right hand reaches high. As you exhale, feeling that side bend. If you didn't have a block, then left hand could go to the ground. Squeeze the left glute slightly, a little tuck of your tailbone here as well. Swap sides, breathe in, right hand comes to the right block. As you exhale, left hand up and over. Again, adjust the height of the block as you need. If you need to go a little higher, go for it. You might feel this a little bit more through the left hip flexors. One more slow breath. Start to lengthen the right leg. Imagine your half monkey pose. Breathe in. Reach the left hand to the outside of the right foot. As you exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, open up, side bend, hips forward. As you exhale, half monkey with a twist. Let's go 2 more. Feel free to make this a little bit bigger. Maybe you sweep that left hand around and up a little more. Hold in your half monkey. Maybe that left hand stays around the outside of the foot, or you could walk it out more. You can do this just on the ground. You can use your blocks. For that extra side bend, you might like to walk your left hand a little further forward. Feel your left hip pull back slightly. Can you breathe into the left side of the ribs? One more breath. Walk the hands to the front. Shift your weight forward. Slide that right knee back. Maybe there's a little shift side to side before we swap to the other side. If you want to go through a round or 2 of cat and cow, you absolutely can. Otherwise, we're going to step that left foot outside the left hand. Take it quite wide. Sink your hips forward. Again, left knee stacked on top of the left ankle, and that right knee's far back enough that you can sink your hips forward. Take a couple of breaths here to maybe move the hips around, just feel into what sensations you can feel. Breathe in, lengthen the left leg. As you exhale, fold forward, Ardha Hanumanasana. Again, a little bend at the left knee here. Pull the left toes towards you. And see if you can pull that left hip back a little more and the right hip forward. Breathe in, shift your weight forward, bend the knee. Lift the chest up higher. As you exhale, fold back. Inhale to shift. Exhale, come back. 2 more. Shift your weight back forward, finding lizard lunge, using any props that you want to. If you didn't have blocks but wanted to try get the elbows to the ground but weren't quite there, right elbow down first is a good place to start, and then eventually maybe the left elbow will come down. Notice what happens if you drop the weight of the head and you tuck your chin in almost like you're trying to look to your belly button.
Maybe you feel that a little more through the right hip flexors. Option 2, peel that left knee out, inner arch of the left foot comes off. And sometimes I kind of like to pulse in and out, just kind of shifting around. Walk the hands up. Grab your blocks if you had them. Lift yourself up a little more. Maybe slide that left foot in slightly. Place the hands or the blocks either side of you. At any point, if this becomes uncomfortable for your right knee, feel free to pop like a blanket or a pillow underneath it. Little sink of the hips forward. Reach the right hand to the right block. Breathe in, left hand high. Breathe out, side bend. Little squeeze of the right glute. Swap to the other side. Left hand comes onto the left block. Breathe in, right hand high. Exhale, side bend. Again, at any point, if that right arm lifted is quite intense, you can just bring the hand behind the back of the head. Makes it a little bit easier. Soften the shoulders, down the back. One more breath. Start to lengthen the left leg. Imagine your half monkey pose. Reach the right hand around the outside of the left foot, if it meets, otherwise just somewhere around the left calf. Breathe in, find your side bended lunge. As you exhale, twisted half monkey pose. Let's go 3 more. Holding your half monkey pose, feel free to extend your hands over to the side a little more. Maybe you grab that right block for the right hand. And if you wanted that more side bended shape, walk your right hand out a little further and then try feel that right hip pull back. Make sure you're not locking the left knee out. Notice where you can soften. One more breath. Walk the hands around. Slide the left knee back. Let's sit down on our hips. We're going to practice Gomukhasana, our Cowface pose, which is quite a deep hip opener, but we're going to add on a side bend to that. Now, if Cowface pose doesn't feel comfortable, you can do a cross-legged position just like we did before. Otherwise, you're going to try slide your right knee underneath and then your left knee on top. Just walk your feet out to the sides a little more. And then try pull that left hip down to the ground. If it's not coming down, I would definitely recommend sitting up onto a block. If you didn't have a block, then a cushion, anything that helps elevate your hips. This side bend, we're going to take a block, if you had one, to the side of your left hip. You're going to try bring your left elbow down on the left block and rest the left side of the head on the hand. You could push that right hand into the left knee, or if you wanted a little bit more of your side bend, your activeness, and you can bring your hand behind your head. Try wind that right elbow back. If you didn't have a block, then you could just have the left hand on the ground and side bend that way. Breathing into the sides of the ribs. Let's go 3 more breaths here. Walk yourself up. I'm going to take our feet wide into our Upavista Konasana, our wide-legged forward fold position, just for a moment. Now, you might have your knees bent here. You can always take blocks kind of down the leg somewhere to help support this knee bend. If you're feeling pretty open today, you might have your legs a little longer. Lift up tall, breathe in. As you exhale, walk the hands forward. Try tilt the pelvis forward. So imagine like you had a bucket of water in your hips and you're trying to get as much water out of it as you can. Try to keep the toes facing up to the sky so you're really active through the back of the leg. One more slow breath. Walk yourself back. I'm going to try that on the other side. So start by bringing the left knee underneath first, and then slide that right knee on top. And shuffle the feet out. Plant the right hip down. If that's not happening, then sit up onto something. If you had that block nearby, you can bring it to the side. Definitely go for the highest height. If the highest height's not quite high enough, then you could stack another block on top. Just want this to feel quite supportive in the body. Breathe in, place the right elbow on the block. Exhale to hold. Maybe that left hand stays down and you just gently press it into the right knee. If you did feel like a little bit more activeness, you could bring the left hand behind the head as well. You're trying to pull that left elbow back. Two more slow breaths. Walk yourself up. Sweep your legs around to the front. I'm going to lie down on our back. Next couple of moments will be a little bit of free time. Maybe that looks like a happy baby. Maybe you take your feet wide. So it's kind of like that wide-legged forward fold, but you're just on your back. Maybe you go for a twist each side. Supported bridge could feel really nice with the block underneath the hips. And then when you're ready to rest, then finding Shavasana. Extending the legs out long again. Or maybe the knees are bent in constructive rest with your feet wide, knees together. Take this initial moment to adjust yourself physically as you need so that you feel more comfortable. Maybe that's grabbing any extra props, putting a blanket underneath the head or underneath the knees, putting on a jumper, maybe putting something over the eyes if you had that close by, just to block out some light. And then just come back to the breath. Maybe finishing like we started with hands on the body, guiding the breath into the lower hand on top of the belly, guiding the breath into the upper hand on top of the heart. We'll be here for another couple minutes in quiet. Again, just encouraging this sense of softening, of heaviness. Just take a slow breath in. And maybe a really soft sigh out of the mouth. I'm going to leave us here in Shavasana. If you did have a little bit longer to stay here, I would totally encourage you to take that extra minute or so. I don't know about you, I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I'm feeling pretty grounded. Thank you so much for turning up, for practicing with me, for being in your body, being in your mind, noticing the different things that pop up along the way. And I hope you take this slow, unrushed energy out into the rest of your day. I'll see you again sometime soon, whether that's here on YouTube or on Patreon, where we have some longer exclusive classes. Thank you so much.